Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperial. Today review would be the movie Venom. Let's get into it. So this movie starring Tom Hardy. I didn't know what to think about this movie when I first seen the previews, but wouldn't have Marvel let us down. So Marvel always comes through, and a movie that you don't think will work does end up working. So a lot of people were skeptical because Venom actually appeared before in Spider-Man 3 when Spider-Man was versus the Sandman, where Venom was in that one and got inside of Spider-Man, but Spider-Man rejected it, and that's how the character Eddie Brock, who was a reporter, ended up becoming Venom in that movie. However, that because Spider-Man rejected the symbiote Venom, that made that Venom character dislike Spider-Man. That's where the beef came from. However, in this one, there's no Spider-Man, so they had to come up with a different storyline, and it kind of spoke to what happened in New York, but it was like, he's talking to his soon-to-be girlfriend, he meaning Eddie Brock, saying, hey, and she was like, I don't want, you got ran out of New York, I don't know what happened there, he was like, yeah, I don't want that to happen. So he made a little funny reference to it. Nevertheless, Eddie Brock is a reporter, and he goes against the grain. He reports on the things that the normal person wouldn't report on. So he was kind of forced to interview this inventor slash real rich guy named Drake, and he dug up some dirt on him by tapping into his girlfriend's files without her knowing. And when he went to do the interview with the guy, he brought the dirt up, and it pretty much was in bad taste. He got fired. His girlfriend got fired because he tapped in her stuff. He went downhill after that. Meanwhile, this scientist that was up to no good, he was sending spaceships up in space, and he retrieved some symbiotes. What they were looking at is some type of alien form, something moving around. So it was 3 canisters, and one of them got loose and fell in Malaysia. So that thing that got loose in Malaysia has been jumping into people to people trying to get to the U.S. Meanwhile, the mad scientist, pretty much the Drake character, he has been trying to use these symbiotes in humans, because he tried it inside of a rabbit first, and then he said, I want to take it to the next step and get humans. But the symbiote is like a parasite. It uses the host up. Once it's done with the host, it kills them. So that's what it pretty much was doing, was just killing everybody. However, when the mad scientist, a woman in the crew, she knew this wasn't right. So she reached out to Brock. Now, this is 6 months later, and Brock pretty much is having a rough life. Nothing is going for him. He lost his soon-to-be wife and everything. So he does try and hear her. But, he was down on his luck and said, what the hell, I'm going to go and see what's up. So she got him inside of the facility where the symbiote was, and where the Drake character was taking like homeless people and testing them out, because nobody would think about, they don't care about the homeless. So one of the women that was there was a woman that he talked to on the street and stuff like that. So he tried to break her out, but she was infected with the symbiote, and the symbiote jumped on her and jumped on him. And so now this was the start of the bonding time between the Venom symbiote and Eddie Brock. So the symbiote and the human has to bond together for it to be a match. And that's what happened with the Venom symbiote. So you get to see like their bonding time, how you know, the Venom symbiote has his own mind and talks to Eddie Brock's character, so he's having conversation with himself, but the symbiote is talking to him. So there's also a symbiote that's yellow, and that symbiote was hopping host to host, not finding a home. But they pretty much forgot about that symbiote, and because all this other stuff was going on. Now you have another symbiote, which is called Venom, that's on his way from Malaysia trying to get to the U.S. So when that host finally gets here, it runs into the Drake character, scientist, and pretty much jumps in him. So that anti-Venom mission is to get the spaceship back to their hometown, bring the rest of the symbiotes to Earth, and just take over and kill. Meanwhile, Venom likes Brock. He doesn't want to leave Earth. He figure I can stop any Venom from going back home, and I can just be on Earth myself. So Venom is not all the way bad, because Brock, his partner, is not a bad person, really. He just get mixed up in a lot of things. So you get to see their bonding time, and the CGI is good in there. The action scenes is good. It's just the storyline is kind of like, you know, it's not all the way there. There are 2 post-credit scenes. So one of the post-credit scenes is Brock gets his reporter job back, and he speaks with his ex-girl, and he tells her pretty much like, she thinks the Venom is gone, but Venom is still in him. He just didn't tell her. And Venom is talking to him while she's talking, and pretty much the Venom is telling her like she doesn't even know y'all gonna get back together. And he like, yeah, I got a big reporter interview, and she was like, who? He like, can't tell you. So it shows him going to the prison, and he's going to interview a serial killer by the name of Cletus Kasady. And this serial killer is played by Woody Harrelson, and pretty much tells him, when I get out of here, and I will get out of here, it's going to be carnage. So introductory, that's going to be carnage. Keep in mind that the carnage host haven't found a host yet, and you don't know where it is at this point of the movie. And the second post-credit scene is pretty much of a cartoon version of Spider-Man, where Spider-Man is alleged dead and this kid is taking over, and I don't know what's that about. Got to do some research on that. And it's supposed to come out, I think, in December. I'm not really with that for right now, so I don't know. But other than that, the movie itself was a good movie. If you just watched the movie yourself and you wasn't a comic book fan, I give it, out of my 4-star rating system, I give it 3 out of 4 stars. It was a good film. But if you are a comic book head, I will understand if you only gave it a 2 out of 4 or a 2.5 out of 4. I will understand, because comic book heads is going to go by the storyline, some things that they said was missing or could have been better here and there. So other than that, it was a decent film. 2 post-credit scenes. One is like in between the credits, one is at the very end of the credits. So if you want to stay in the movie theater, you can watch that. Other than that, that's pretty much all I got for now. Share and like the video. Subscribe. Leave a comment. Make sure your notification button's on. Till next time.